Hello, everybody. Now, I grew up with Batman and Spider-Man as a kid. They were the top two favorite characters I ever had. You know, they were the most earliest characters I looked up to and enjoyed. I would say they were the first two characters that I ever became like an expert of their worlds in. You know, I knew a lot about their villains. I could name them off at the drop of a hat. You know, I had a good idea of what they were like, what drew my attention to them. And, you know, like other people, I have grown to become very fond of them, and I cherish these characters and the stories. As time progresses and I start learning more and more and about the worlds they encompass, the stories they are in, you know, my fondness for these characters only grows exponentially. And, you know, I have come across some of the greatest works ever in both of these characters' fields in other media, you know, like the Kevin Conroy animated series, a legend of its time, a true masterpiece, you know, the old classic Spider-Man animated series, you know, that was a good one with that epic like guitar riff at the end, Spider-Man. I mean, it was definitely, those were like great moments, you know, and like they've had other iterations and stuff that were real good. Later on, Spectacular Spider-Man, which I thought was like one of the greatest shows ever for Spider-Man to ever have. You know, I think it was the 2005 or 2004 The Batman series, which was a nice little series from what I've seen in a few episodes, and I did watch the little direct-to-video movie they did with it, with Batman vs. Dracula. I thought that was a decent movie there. But yeah, like they all had their great ups, and of course they had some like down moments. Not gonna lie, but overall, we love these characters, and whenever like a new movie's coming out, we want to see something good out of it. But with all these things coming into play in this generation, this particular time, this world where suddenly everything has to be filled with an agenda or something, it's no longer an attempt to create a good story. It's no longer to just make a story to make a story. You can't ever just have a simple story with a compelling plot, compelling characters that you love to love or love to hate, vice versa. You know, and it's just like it's never just that these days, and it's become rarer to just find things of that genuine article. And we live in a time where you hear about casting for a superhero movie or any comic book based property. It's no longer you're filled with a curiosity, like you're like, ooh, this is interesting, I wonder who they got. You're now filled with this sort of concern. You're like, oh no, because you've been burned. I have been burned, you know, and I'm just gonna say it. I don't like what they did with the Catwoman. Now, for those who are not familiar with this, now there's going to be a Batman movie in apparently 2021, made by Matt Reeves. Now, Matt Reeves took over this solo Batman movie from Ben Affleck when he had to depart because of a lot of personal issues that was occurring, and he left the Batman role entirely. You know, originally he was going to star, direct, produce the whole thing, and we all thought that it was going to be Ben Affleck taking on Deathstroke. That's all we thought. That's what the little scene at the end of Justice League was supposed to hint off, you know, like that would have been cool. However, we did not quite get that. Matt Reeves took over. Now, he kind of had a habit of just redoing literally everything. He went through like 3 variations of the script, and then it got to the point where he had to cast somebody else to play as Batman. Now, he went and picked Robert Pattinson to play Bruce Wayne. Now, with Robert Pattinson, I had no problem there. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him a shot. He hated doing the Twilight movies. You know, that's a paycheck he regrets. I've seen him in other movies, and he did pretty well for what he was given in those movies. You know, so it's like, you know what? If the script is good, then, you know, maybe he can do something great with this. I used to be one of the people that doubted Ben Affleck before the trailers to Batman v Superman came out, but then it was like, you know what? I can believe this. So, like, things moved on. And we hadn't heard nothing yet on other casting. Then it got a little bit bad. You see, as a Batman fan, you become very fond of some of the other characters that Batman interacts with, or characters that he has like romantic histories with that span almost to day one. So when I hear that there's going to be a casting for Catwoman, I'm thinking, wow, we're going to get Catwoman in this new movie? Cool, that'd be great to see, because, you know, like, our most recent, like, modern Catwoman wasn't till Gotham. Underrated show. I don't care what anybody says. I like the show. But anyways, so they cast her. So I'm thinking, okay, who'd they get? And I have like a list of certain actresses in my head that I think that they could possibly get. You know. So I'm like thinking, okay, who are they gonna get? So I go in on my little comic book site, just go check it out. Turns out they got someone I did not think they were gonna do. They get Zoe Kravitz to play Selina Kyle, and the thing of that is, last time I checked, Selina Kyle was white as fuck. Like, I understand that in some comics she's kind of got like a bit of a tan situation, but for the majority of comic books, she's white as fuck. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like some people are gonna give me crap for pulling that card, but it's like, no. Like, I'm sorry, but you guys want to complain if a white guy takes, like, say, an Asian character, position, a character that is originally meant to be Asian, and you throw a hissy fit and all this stuff, and you make the actor leave or whatnot, but, like, when it fits your spectrum, we're not supposed to say anything. And you know what? Fuck that. Okay? That's what I say. Fuck that. Alright? I cannot go for this. Alright? I like this, like, and it's like, it's not just the fact that she like that she doesn't like fit the skin tone or anything, okay? That's like one part. Alright? Here's the thing. She does not have a really great track like thing with movies. Okay? Like, what the fuck has she been in? Seriously, what the fuck has she been in? She has been in a Mad Max movie, but honestly, she kind of like blends into the crowd with that one, so it's like I barely remember some of them, you know? Then she was in the sequel to Fantastic Beasts, and I heard that movie like just epically tanked hard, so it's like you can't really, it's like that's not a good movie to really have your name attached to there. And like as I kind of like look into this woman and her history, and it's like, oh, she's got a famous father and mother. Her godfather happens to be Jason Momoa, fucking Aquaman, and it's like, yeah, I see what happened here. Fucking Matt Reeves decided, like, and here's the thing, I heard the rumors about this part, about how Matt Reeves was looking specifically for a person of color to play Catwoman. Why? There was no reason for that. You don't need to do that. Like, if you want to get a person of color to play in the movie, get a person of color character for them. Okay? Batman has a significant number of characters in other ethnicities that you can get for that you could find that you could put in, and no one could give you shit about it. Like Cassandra Cain, Asian, that fits just fine. You know, Lucius Fox, Luke Fox, you know, fucking The Signal, you know, like all these particular people that fit all these particular, you know, other spots, and it's like they're not forced, you know. Batman has a well-rounded, like, diverse little group of people that, like, operate with him, you know, and it's never seemed forced or ham-fisted or anything. It's just their characters. They're good. They have their own stories, you know. I don't see why you need to take an existing character who's been portrayed, who's been made in one particular fashion for the longest time anybody can remember, and then they just cast someone that's not in the, that doesn't fit that, like, fit the look. Okay? Like, they just don't fit the look. Now, I understand that some people are going to try to bring up the 60s show when, you know, the original actress for Catwoman was black. Like, that's one thing. But here's the thing, though. They didn't, at that time, they didn't cast the actress because she was black. They just casted it because they thought she was, like, the ideal role, and she could do the mannerisms of Catwoman at the time. And that's fine there. But when it's, like, when it's Matt Reeves is like, I need to find a person of color to play Catwoman. That literally shouts, I have an agenda to fill. I want to shove my ideals, my agendas down your throats. You want to watch a comic book movie? No, you're going to watch my agenda. Woo! You know, that's what it all is. That's what it all is. And people are going to call me bigoted or racist or whatever, because that's the only thing they can ever say. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. Like, I can have my opinion too. I got a keyboard too, motherfucker. I can shout my shit all the way to the heavens above and to the deepest pits of hell below. Just like you. You know, you want to take your little stand on the table, shout out and angry, you know, preaching about wokeness and SJW bullshit. Well, I can set my foot down and say, fuck all that. Okay? Now, this movie is very tainted by the very notion of it. That my childhood is getting ruined just because Matt Reeves has a fucking fetish. Okay, he's got his jungle fever thing going on. Okay, and it didn't just go from, you know, Catwoman. You know, he casted Commissioner Gordon to a African American, you know, or actually, I think Jeffrey Wright might be British or something. I don't know, but you know, but he made Commissioner Gordon black in this movie, you know. And here's the thing, Jeffrey Wright, he's a good actor. I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I think he's great. I just don't think he should have been Commissioner Gordon. He could have been anybody. He could have been Lucius Fox, and I would have been just super fine with it. Morgan Freeman played Lucius Fox, and that was fucking awesome. But here's the thing: you put Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. You know what that means, right? They're gonna turn Batgirl in black, meaning that yet another redhead character from the comics books gets shafted yet again. Mary Jane, Jimmy Olsen, Starfire, all of the Wally West, Iris West, they all get shafted hard whenever the media, whenever these other shows just start putting it in, you know, and it's crazy how it goes, you know, all these forced changes to pre-established characters just to fit some agenda, like it's just ridiculous, and these companies are just trying to like go through the motions with it because they don't want to just straight up admit. They think that this will make them money, but it really don't, and they're afraid to just admit that their sole purpose in life is to make some money. Like, sure, fine, you want to have some ideals or not look like money grubbing, but dudes, we understand it. We go into business to try to make money to better our own lives, okay? You can admit that you guys just want to make some money off this particular product. There's no reason why you would own these properties if you didn't think you could get money off of it. There's no reason why Warner Brothers would own the entire rights to DC and everything and all their film properties, you know, under their whole little umbrella, if they didn't think that they could make some money off them, okay? You know? And And this movie is just, I don't have any hope for it. Like, I don't. Not with this particular casting they just keep throwing at us. Not with anything these days, you know? Like, they do this all the time. This forced agenda bullshit. You know, a lot of people are just not into it anymore, you know? I think it just really dropped. Comic book movies are just getting that little taste, you know, because these SJWs just keep trying to infect everything. Star Wars, you know, that got, like, run down nearly to the ground, and we only have the good graces of the Mandalorian to keep the fandom even remotely united about something, which is that the Mandalorian is a great show. But now, Star Wars is in total jeopardy. You know, The Rise of Skywalker supposedly is not good, you know, and who knows how that's going to turn out. I want to hold out hope, but I know a lot of people have already just left the station, and they're just done with it all entirely, you know. With DC and everything going on with this, their film thing is in total disarray. Marvel's kind of like on this track of doing it, but like, who knows how it'll go. Like, I try to be optimistic, but it's like, there's moments where you just gotta say, what the fuck? You know? Like, this whole Batman movie, I'm disappointed. I'm concerned. I do not want my childhood to be destroyed by all this, you know? Like, I want to enjoy this movie, you know? But I can't do that if I have to deal with the SJWs and the left and the diversity, all of this, just trying to, like, crack into my escape, you know? And this is what these movies are. These are what all these media platforms are for us. All of our characters, they're our way to escape the reality. In this day and age, we're stuck with it all the time, you know? Politics, agendas, all the clashing, all the angry stuff just going out, just bashing each other over the internet. You can't go 5 seconds without hearing about it. So we go to these places. We go to our favorite TV shows. We go to our favorite movies, our games, our comic books, to just escape. To get that, like, hour and a half, 2 hours worth of time to just get out of it. Just zone out. Focus on just the story. Simple thing. To where, in that moment of time, the most complex thing you could think of is what the fuck this one character is going to do in this particular episode or in this particular scene, and try to maybe predict what will happen or what won't happen, you know? But we don't get that nowadays. It's rare. Few and far between, you know? With all these other people just trying to, like, shovel in their agendas into the comic books, just like not allowing us any solace, no sanctuary, you know? Like, I mean, back in the old days, it used to be just like Quasimodo, you know, from that Hunchback of Notre Dame movie. You know, he's rushing into the church and claiming sanctuary to be free from like, you know, Frollo and everybody trying to hunt him down, you know, trying to kill him and Esmeralda. But nowadays, we don't even get sanctuary. We don't have a spot these days. Our places are becoming few and far between, you know. And I think it's just like at this time, I kind of, it's now like getting to the point where it's like I think Hollywood needs to understand that you cannot keep doing this. You can't keep allowing people with these agendas to just start trying to shovel in and deal with projects that are millions of dollars. We have seen this particular stuff go down. Terminator Dark Fate, Charlie's Angels, the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. All these movies tried to fit an agenda. They tried to ham-fist it in, and they all flopped. They all failed. You know, and the various people behind them just started attacking the audience, you know, and it's like, that doesn't help at all. And like trying to blame everybody, you know, it's like, it just doesn't work. You know, you cannot go full woke. Never go full woke, because you will wind up broke. That's the rule. That's the thing. Now, that's all I can have to say on this. I'm just hoping that Hollywood can turn this around, that they'll understand this, that this whole thing with the voices of a few people shouting at them and complaining that their agendas are not being fulfilled, because they're never going to be satisfied. They will never be. That's the thing. They will never be happy with whatever they get. That's the thing. So it's just best to ignore them entirely. Never give them anything, because regardless of what happens, whatever you give them, it will never be enough. And I think Hollywood needs to realize that and just ignore it entirely and just focus on making something like a good story that can make them money. Because that's the only way they ever learn is with money. Like, these studios have to learn these things. Paramount is kind of learning because the fan backlash over the design of Sonic made them go, you know what? We need to change it. Change the design of Sonic. We did it. And now people are loving it and they're going to give it a chance. I'm giving it a chance. And that was great. The studio listened. And it did. So I think these other studios need to take a note that they need to kind of listen, but they just need to not focus on the agenda people. That's just it. And I don't know, I feel disappointed, really. Because that's what we're in this age, the cancel culture, SJW bullshit, and it's I want to escape in these comics. I don't get that chance. And, I want to have hope for these movies and everything, but then, I hear about the casting choices and all this and that, and then it's almost it almost gets to be awkward to try to bring up a movie in a conversation, I enjoyed Captain Marvel mostly. My only problems with that movie were just of stuff of a comic book based nature. I can understand why people don't like it, and I can understand that Brie Larson didn't exactly help anybody by acting the way she did. I can understand that entirely. My gripes with the movie are only just based on comic book preference. That's it. And I don't know what the future will bring. Who knows? I just know that I don't want this particular... I don't want this Batman movie to be... I just feel like it's gonna... I almost want it to not do well. That sucks. That really sucks to really think about it and go I don't want this movie to do well now. Because if it does well, then we have to kind of live with the fact that they'll do it. Because sometimes the comics themselves they get changed in order to accommodate the popularity of a movie. Aquaman, he had a distinct look, just blonde hair and short blonde hair, no facial hair at all. And then with Momoa coming in, they altered his look just a bit to appear more like him. He had more longer hair, he had a beard, just like Momoa does. So it's I become somewhat worried with this and some of the other choices they went with in the future DC movies. I don't want them to suddenly change these characters in these character skin tones and races just to fit the agendas of the movie. I don't want that to happen. But I guess we can never try to predict what'll happen, right? I have to wait and see. It's disappointing, but I guess that's the way the world works nowadays. Maybe it'll change. I'm hoping it'll change. But until then, batten down the hatches and hold out the storm. But anyways, thank you all for just listening to me ramble on about this particular topic. If you want more of this particular content, leave a like. You know, even with all the stuff that's going on with YouTube these days, and whatever the changes will bring, I can assure you, I'll still be around. You know, regardless of that, that's my 2 cents on it. See how it goes. See how it goes. You know. So, thank you all for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this nice 25 minutes of me rambling. So, have a good time with that. What are your thoughts on the whole casting of Catwoman in this Batman movie and of Commissioner Gordon and all that? What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's a good thing at all? I don't understand how people would think it is, but, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, how bad do you think it'll be? What are your thoughts on it just in general? You know? And that is all. Thank you all again. You know? Thank you all. Bye.